Hey guys, how's it going? This is Con, Mr. So Real, and welcome to this week's Good or Garbage, the #1 place where you can find what weapons, mods, attachments, other blueprints, no, maybe not so much, but all that other stuff that's good with the division. You can find that out here, and this is the #1 place, longest running. I haven't stopped, so you know it's got to be for a good reason. So this week there is quite a bit of stuff. This video is a bit longer than it has been in the past couple weeks. That's because there's just been a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people would want to check out. There are a lot of new players coming to the division, so if you are a new player, leave a comment down below and just say hi, I'm new, and we'll show you some love. And this is a good place for you to come and find out what you need to know about the division, what stuff is recommended, and boy, there is a lot of stuff, so go ahead and check those timestamps below, and let's get started. Starting off this week at the special equipment vendor, we have the Pecan, the Historian, the Cassidy shotgun, which has decent talents, comes with responsive, fierce, and boomstick, but the base damage I believe is kind of average. It's not horrible, but it's just average. And then the stagger rate on it is 337. So if you are looking for one of these in 1.8, I'm sure you could make this a pretty nasty contender for double barrel shotgun of the year. The Centurion this week is actually pretty good. Comes with determined, and it comes with 99.4% of the max base damage, so it is pretty good. If you did pick up that nice Liberator from last week, this would be a very nice companion to go with that. And then when you get that set bonus for having both of those weapons, the Free Republic, each shot with the Liberator grants 5% to your next headshot damage with the Centurion. The max is 200%, and then kills with the Centurion grant 10% RPM to all weapons for 10 seconds. This week's Liberator is not that great, 22% enemy armor damage. The talents, not a fan of prepared on this, but deadly is always nice, and then dominant depends on your build, but I don't really see this being the holy grail for these three talents together. Now, in terms of the weapons that are being sold this week, I'm going to skim through the ones that I'm not a huge fan of. The Police T821 has some nice talents with a brutal and responsive for an SMG. Fierce, rather trade that in for deadly, but you know, it is what it is. But the base damage on this is kind of The Scar L, hopefully the Scar L's are going to pick up in the 1.8 update, but these talents are not that great, so I would say pass. The Black Market SAS G12 this week is pretty nice, coming with 317 Stagger. Stagger could be a little bit better, but it does come with Self-Preserve, Deadly, and Fierce. The talents, you know, Deadly and Self-Preserve worked very well together, and then Fierce getting that extra chance will also help with Deadly. So all three of these talents synergize very well together, and then the base damage for this weapon is at 89.5. Now, a special shout out this week for John Lewis. He was asking me in the comments last week, if you guys missed it, about a custom M44. He has been on the hunt, and he's been asking me repeatedly week after week about this weapon, and I got good news and I got extremely bad news for you. The good news is this is exactly the weapon that you wanted. The headshot damage is a bit low at 158. It comes with Deadly, it comes with Destructive, and it comes with Ferocious. So if you guys are looking to have a custom M44 for some PvE content, then you definitely will want to take a look at this bolt action baby. Now the thing about this is that the base damage is extremely low, and when I say extremely low, this is probably one of the lowest I've seen for one of these weapons that is going to make it into the video. And the base damage, drum roll please, is at a whopping 4.97%, not even 5% of the maximum potential for base damage. So while the base damage is very, very low, with 1.8 on the horizon, you can definitely upgrade this weapon with Division Tech. Having Deadly, having Destructive, and having Ferocious for PvE content would be very, very nice. John said he wanted to use this with his DeadEye build, and with the classified gear set for DeadEye being out, if you've got a nice build, this could work out very well for you, and you know, it only costs you a bit of Division Tech. How much exactly? remains to be seen. But hopefully, John, if you are watching this, leave a comment and let us know how much division tech did it take to max this baby out once 1.7 drops. I'd love to hear from you next week, and let us know how that all works out. Now, the M249B, the talents basically suck. I'm not even gonna recommend it. Moving on to the rest of the things that are being sold. If you are looking for gear set, the DeadEye chest piece is kind of meh. The armor on it is average. I would say the stamina on it is a bit low. Health on kill 9%. Skill haste. Skill haste is nice, and then the 52% ammo capacity is okay. This is a pretty like mediocre average piece, but if you are desperate for this to go with maybe that M44, then you can. Just remember, all of these gear sets, if they are not classified, are placeholder. Do not try to get all wrapped up and max out gear set pieces if they are not classified. If you get a classified piece, then you want to check that out. You get the talents and the perks and stuff that you want on it, then go for it and max it out with the optimization station once it drops in 1.8. But do not waste your division tech on normal green placeholder pieces once 1.8 drops. You really will be better off kind of holding off on that and just hoping that you get a better piece and then re-rolling it. That's my little bit of recommendation for this. Now, moving on to this bag, Relentless Bag, we have 5% of damage dealt by skills is returned as healing. The armor on it is okay. The stamina on it is maxed out at 1272. Comes with 8% critical hit damage, 46% ammo capacity. That could be a bit better. This will work out very well for flame turrets, rolly balls, and sticky bombs. If you are making those BFB or whatever those things are, the destructive sticky bombs, all of the damage that you give for that will come back as healing for you, so that could work out very well, especially for flame turrets and those kind of turret builds. Could be really nice. Now, moving on to what is going to be next, believe there isn't much, but this Lonestar pair of gloves, the shotgun damage on it is okay. Comes at $12.99 shotgun damage. The most you can get for a shotgun is $13.34, so it's not too far off, but unfortunately it comes with pistol damage, which you can change for something else, but it does come with 16% critical hit damage, which is only 1 point off from the max. The armor on it is not horrible. The max you can get for that is I think like 1001 or something like that, and then the firearms is pretty pathetic. But again, with 1.8 coming, a lot of this stuff can be shifted around and made better if you decide to, but I would say don't, because this isn't the classified version. But it is a decent placeholder. You can probably re-roll pistol damage for something that you like, and then just kind of roll with it until you get what you want. And that's pretty much going to do it for all of these set pieces. The electronics, not a huge fan of 253 to recommend for electronics, but the skill power is really nice at 3,324. The extended magazine is not too bad at 15.5 with 3% critical hit chance, 4% damage. Not bad if you don't have something like that. Compensator with 12.5 stability is not bad either, with 3% crit chance and 4% crit damage. The rest of the stuff is pretty much garbage, so why don't we get on and see what other stuff is being sold this week. Moving on to the advanced weaponry vendor, we have the M45A1, brutal, but the base damage is very low. I would recommend the Centurion over this one if you were in the market for something like that. The MP7, not the greatest talents, and also the base damage is kind of trash. Same thing with the G36. The Super 90 has decent talents with brutal and trained, but yeah, again, base damage is kind of if you are in need of something like this, you could go for that if you wanted to. The classic M1A, very good base damage. This one comes in at 95.15. The headshot damage is not too far off from max, and it comes with brutal, toxic, and skilled. Skilled and brutal together are a pretty nice combination. Toxic is actually one of my low-key favorite talents to have, just because I like watching the NPCs stumble around like idiots, and then you just shoot at them. To me, that's fun, but you know, whatever. So yeah, this is not a bad weapon if you are looking for a bit of a faster firing marksman rifle, and then that is pretty much going to do it. The rest of this is kind of poo-poo. The VX1 scope, nice crit damage, nice crit chance, but the headshot damage is probably about 2% off from max or so, or either 18% or a 1.5. So if you are desperate and you are in need for one of these and you don't have one that has these kinds of talents, then definitely go and pick it up. But if you do have better, then obviously this is garbage. Alright, over in the Dark Zone vendor in the base of operations, the custom M44 is back again, this time with higher headshot damage and much higher base damage. The base damage on this weapon is at 85.3%, which is probably 80% stronger than the other one, but the talents unfortunately are not anywhere near as good. We come with skilled, fierce, and meticulous. Now, I'm not hating on skilled. I think skilled is a really nice one to have, but it's not in the third slot, and the electronics requirement is kind of steep. But fierce, you know, is what it is. Pretty good talent to have. And then meticulous is not that bad, but definitely not the cream of the crop for this type of weapon. But just wanted to throw out that base damage and the headshot damage, if you are looking for an M44 with maybe fierce and meticulous, or maybe fierce, skilled, and then you can roll something else into the meticulous slot, this weapon is available, but it will cost you Dark Zone credits. Over in Park Avenue, there is an MP7 being sold with pretty nice talents. The critical hit chance on this is 22%. It comes with competent, responsive, and hurried. These are some pretty nice talents, and if you wanted to get rid of any of them, you definitely probably want to throw away hurried and put deadly on this bad boy. Competent and responsive are really nice talents to have, although the MP7 may not be the best SMG coming up with the house on the horizon. As Marco said in his latest video that he tested, you definitely will be going with the house if you can get your hands on one of those. So if this is gonna be the placeholder weapon that you'd like for your SMG, then this has some really nice talents. It's not a bad weapon, so you can mod this up the way you like it. And if you've been looking for an MP7 to run with, then this is a decent one to have. Now, the only drawback to this weapon is that the base damage is not that great. It's at 25.2, but again, that kind of stuff can be adjusted in 1.8 with the optimization station. The rest of these weapons I'm not a huge fan of. Some of the talents on this lightweight M4, and the rest of this is just not all that great. The SOCOM M1A does have great headshot damage, but sustained, toxic, and capable, I can't really recommend that. Over at East 53rd Street, there is a pair of Savage gloves that are not too bad. The armor on them are 967. The stamina is 1137. The SMG damage for this is 996. The maximum you can get for SMG would be 1001. So really not that far off. Plus comes with 4% health on kill and 8% skill haste. Now you will have to make a decision whether you want to keep health on kill and then re-roll stamina onto something else, or if you're willing to keep stamina and then roll off health on kill for something else like maybe crit hit damage. That is totally up to you, and that is some decision that you will have to make. But these are a pretty nice pair of gloves, and with 1.8 coming, you can max these out and then have a beastly pair of Savage gloves. At 5th Avenue, if you are desperate for an SASG shotgun, being that the SASG is going to be probably the king shotgun of 1.8, we have one for you. The stagger on it could be a bit better. It's at 294.5. It comes with determined, swift, and responsive. Responsive is always a great talent to have on most weapons, and especially for shotguns. Swift, it kind of depends. Determined could help you out depending on your build, but those are pretty much going to be the two talents you're going to want to mull over when you decide if you want to pick one of these up if you don't have an SASG. Now, the thing about this weapon is that it has 89.45% of the maximum base damage, so it's not too far off. And then when you decide to roll whatever you roll, then putting that division tech into this weapon won't be too painful, to say the least. In DZ2, there's a pretty decent Vigorous chest piece in case you were looking for one of these before the drop of 1.8. The armor on it is at 1863. Could be quite a bit better, but you know, do what you got to do. Then the stamina on it comes at 1125, and then we have 5% enemy armor damage, 15,666 beastly health, and then we've got the increased kill XP at 27%. Some of these stats are just kind of mediocre. I'm not a huge fan of increased kill XP, and then stamina. It kind of is what it is if it fits your build, but enemy armor damage and health are two really nice talents to have, so the only thing you'll really need to make a decision on is that increased kill XP. Do you want ammo, or do you want something besides stamina? Other than that, 1.8 hits, get that recalibration, you'll get your armor back, and might turn into a pretty decent piece. In DZ3, we have a lightweight M4 being sold, 23% enemy armor damage. Talents are Swift, Fierce, and Vicious. Vicious giving you critical hit chance increased by 10% when you have 2 segments of health, and then Fierce giving you 5% increased critical hit chance. So with these two together, if you have full health, you're basically at 15% more critical hit chance. But you know, this kind of isn't really optimal. You'll probably want some better talents than this. Fierce is not a bad one to keep. Vicious, I'm not a huge fan of. For PvE, or sorry, for PvP stuff, Swift might not be that bad. Having a faster reload means you probably be able to shoot your opponent faster. Well, in terms of sustained DPS, you'll be able to keep shooting bullets at them at least faster than they will. So maybe you want to get rid of Vicious and put something else in that slot. Deadly is probably a good option since you're going to keep critical hit chance. Getting that crit damage is probably the best bet, but you decide however you want to roll it or whatever works for your build. If you do decide to pick this up, let me know in the comment section. What do you roll and what do you keep? Also, the Tactical Super 90 has some really nice talents with Destructive, Brutal, and Unforgiving. The problem with this is similar to the custom M44 at the beginning of this video. The base damage is total garbage, and I mean total garbage. This is at 4.48. This is even lower than the base damage for the custom M44 that's being sold. So if you want good talents but the base damage you're willing to wait for 1.8, and you want to drop some division tech into it, then this isn't a bad shotgun to have. Although the sausage is still going to be the king for, you know, shotguns. But you know, if you want to run this Tactical Super 90, then you know, be my guest. But it is what it is, and that's what it is. All right, finally, and I mean finally, in DZ4, the 6% first aid self heal is being sold. If you do not have these and you are one of the lone wolves that go out into the DZ, you definitely want to go and pick this up. I've been running with 5.5s for the longest time. This is probably one of the first time I've seen the 6% heals. So you know what, I am going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4 just for this build. Highly recommended. Go and get it. In DZ6, there's a pretty nice Lonestar vest, 1885 armor, 1150 stamina, 16,144 health, 4% health on kill, and 55% ammo capacity. As always, the maximum health that you can have on a chest piece is 16,674, so not too bad. Then the next thing we can look at is the final measure knee pads, 1522 for the armor, 1232 for the stamina, and then this is just kind of a bunch of percentages. 4% enemy armor damage, 30% shock resistance, 16% damage to elites. Now if you figure the enemy armor damage plus the damage to elites, those together is already 20% against elites, so that could be very, very nice to have. Shock resistance for PvP, and then disrupt resistance is kind of the meh, but you know, it's in there, so let's go with it. In DZ8, it looks like we have some competing items with other items that are being sold this week. So starting off, there is a Vigorous chest piece here in DZ8. 1979 for the armor, comes with 1173 stamina, but this one has 9% skill haste, 4% health on kill, and 24% increased kill XP. Now the other Vigorous chest piece was in DZ2, and that one had less armor, and it ran enemy armor damage and health instead of skill haste and kill in health on kill. So it's kind of a toss-up between which one you want more. With 1.8 coming, the stats themselves are kind of pointless. You will be able to max them out, so it really comes down to which skills you feel are most important for your build. Now the next thing that is being sold are the Savage gloves. These gloves are going to be competing with the other Savage gloves that were being sold in East 53rd Street. These have a bit less armor. These have 945 armor, 1217 firearms. They come with 965 SMG damage, 5% critical hit chance, and 9% skill haste. Now the difference between these and the other gloves is that the damage for the SMGs is a bit less. These come with a little bit more, 1% more skill haste, and then unlike the other ones with health on kill, these come with critical hit chance. Now moving on to the other vendor right around the corner, the thing that he is selling are the Banshee knee pads. These knee pads are 1585 armor, 1156 firearms. The good thing about this is the skill power is at 13,227. The max you can get for skill power on a pair of knee pads is 13,339. These also come with 31% blind death resistance, come with 15% damage to elites, and 31% disrupt resistance. So if you need something like this to kind of help out your Banshee build, maybe give you a little bit more survivability with your skills, then you can do that, or maybe even a little bit extra damage. And that is what's going on over here in DZ8. Alright guys, that is it for this week's good or garbage. I hope you guys found some decent stuff worth your time. 1.8 coming next week. Couldn't come any sooner. I think a lot of people are hungry for some new content, some new things to do. I am one of them, and you guys probably noticed I haven't really been streaming or playing the Division that much. I've been enjoying Warframe. It's pretty good game. It's free. And it does have a lot of things to do, new things for me to do, but the Division, you know, still holds a little bit of a sweet spot in my heart. It is a game that has, you know, brought a lot of people into my life, namely you guys, and I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. 2017 is coming to a close, and yeah, I still think I'm probably the longest running vendor reset person to do this stuff, even though, you know, with the ups and downs of the Division. I think a lot of you guys who still check this video out are still staying true to the game. A lot of people are still even watching these videos even though they don't even play the game anymore, and they don't even like the game anymore. But I do want to say thank you guys for supporting the channel, supporting the streams, and I do want to say that there are some big changes coming to the channel very soon, just because the channel has been kind of stagnant, hasn't really been growing. Views have been in the toilet, but that's happening for a lot of people. But I think in my particular case, I've been making some mistakes by not really making a lot of videos, and that's kind of what people come to YouTube for. And if that is a reason why you maybe have not subscribed, or you did subscribe but unsubscribed, I apologize. So I do want to be 100% transparent about that, and I take all fault, of course, but I do want this channel to be a success, and I do hope that it is one of your favorite channels, and I do hope that you guys enjoy the content that I make, because I do put a lot of time and care into this stuff. So with all of that being said, hopefully we'll have some new stuff coming out next week, and hopefully I'll have some content that you guys will enjoy. If there is anything that you don't enjoy about the new formats that are coming and the new videos and the new way that things are going to go down, please let me know in the comment section, and let me know. I'm always willing to listen to you guys, because you guys always come first and are number one. So I'll catch you guys later. I am going to be streaming, and I will see you guys in the stream, or I'll see you guys in another video. Take it easy. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Uh.